Good evening, fans of Elden Ring from software games in general. My name is Ricky, and I've decided to basically start a video of Elden Ring facts, 10 facts about Elden Ring wildlife, because at 150 hours into the game, I've started to notice some weird things about the animals in Elden Ring. And because of that, I just couldn't hold it in any longer. I'm sure, like most of us, the first weird thing we noticed in Elden Ring is the rolling sheep. And the rolling sheep are like just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm actually going to skip right over them and just going right onto the land octopuses, like in my thumbnail. The description of that is just disgusting. The land octopus ovary is essentially the freakiest item in the game, hands down. So, an animal in Elden Ring that drops a strip of white flesh indicates that it does not have blood in its body. So, the land octopus ovary states that because of this, they hunt humans to fill their ovaries with blood to give birth, to bear their young, which, come on, that's freaky. When you think about the placement of the land octopuses and how they're on the beach, and people are sailing to the lands between, and they're just getting wrecked right by these land octopuses. And that's why the land octopuses are always surrounded by their young. And I mean, even more grossly, like why you can wear their head if you're lucky enough to loot one of those. Moving on to our next fact. Speaking of another animal that drops the strip of white flesh, has no blood in its body, is the turtle. The turtle neck meat is considered kind of like a delicacy, but only in the south of the lands between. And I find that interesting because in the north, you know, we have our friend Turtle Pope. I think his name is Muriel. So maybe somewhere in the north, you know, because this is like the studious area anyways, where you're going to have the Raya Lucaria Academy and whatnot, and even furthermore in the Altus Plateau. I'm not sure if there are turtles in the Altus Plateau, but when you think about it, just the northern part in general just seems like the more civilized area, and the southern part just seems kind of like a more chill countryside area. So with the turtles being more preserved in the north and almost worshipped and respected and eaten in the south, you can see like there's already the two different types of ideologies other than, you know, your two fingers and, you know, spoiler alert for some people, I won't say it, but you know. And because of that, I just find that hilarious that, you know, like the southerners are looked down upon for eating turtle meat. So another fact number 3, is that before the shattering, the bugs were already mutated, specifically the butterflies. You can see this because the smoldering butterflies say that they're eternally burning. And I know that's not like exactly super proof, but going further than that, you can see that the what's it called, the Lunarian Butterfly, they have like the glintstone, the glintstone firefly, and found in the lakes of Lunaria, like their tail has been mutated into glintstone. And glintstone was around before the shattering, supposedly, according to certain videos I've seen, kind of like, you know, helping me out understand the lore. I bring this up just because I find it interesting that certain butterflies are eternally burning and certain butterflies are poisonous, you know, like the ones that come from the wings of Melania or Michaela. I forgot which one is which. Honestly, I haven't even done that fight yet, and I'm 150 hours into the game. That's how good this game is. I can't stop experimenting with weapons and upgrading them and just grinding out the stones. And just, yeah, I'm dumb, I know. But oh well. So, my main point with this is I find it funny that the Erd tree was kind of messing things up with the wildlife long before the shattering happened. But when the shattering happened, you can see that more wildlife was going to be subjected to more extreme conditions, especially because they weren't bound by death anymore. And I don't know if this is true for the wildlife like it is for the tarnished and other people in the lands between, but if you aren't taken care of by death, you know, like you're not given an Erd tree burial, like, what does that mean for the wildlife? Like, you just hunt the wildlife endlessly and it just appears the next day, just like those who are guided by grace to tarnish. And does that mean the wildlife is like always going to mutate after a while to defend itself? Is that why the sheeps are just rolling now and growing horns when they're not supposed to be, like due to the budding horn description text? This next one is kind of dorky, but the golden poop, the golden tinged excrement, I find it funny because like one of the first things we are shown in any cutscenes or anything is the fallen leaves tell a story. Well, so does the fallen poop. You can see this because eating golden Erd tree infused foods like the roa fruit and the like the root resin. I think it's the root resin. All of that stuff, animals are just walking around consuming it. And I guess the most mutated by it were the bears. And I mean, I really only have proof by this other than like the giant fireflies and the giant like weird like pincery like flies. The bears are like straight up like massive rune bears, and the smaller bears, the regular bears, are also weird because if you get close enough to one that's maybe asleep and you just sit there and stare at it and zoom in on it, you'll see that it's starting to develop the runes. So like the golden tinged poop is just showing that like eating those leaves and the Erd flowers and the roa fruit, all that stuff, it's having an effect everywhere. Like the Elden Ring, the Erd tree, all this stuff, like it does affect the wildlife to a degree. To the point where we can just make endless craftable items out of them, but you know, it's still something. Number 5 is that having 3 digits is a bad omen. You know, spoiler for most people who have gotten this far to the video, there's a faction called the 3 Fingers and the 2 Fingers, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, having 3 digits is a bad omen, but 4 is preferred in the birds of the land between. So, you know, I find it funny that the 4-toed fowl's foot is actually kind of hard to come by. I feel like it's just saying that there's just bad omens everywhere. 6, so yeah, the animals, this is building back on number 4. So the animals eating root resin and roa fruit, they're actually protected by it. We can see this because when you go to Caelid, they're still fine. And then when you see the dogs that are eating the corpses and the rot and all that, they're not fine. So it's just like the Erd tree mutates, but it also keeps its like balance, its golden order. Now, back to number 7. Dragons, even the dragons are hunted for their craftable items. They just rip their scales are just ripped right off of them and used right up against them. I just wanted to put that in there because I was running out of fact ideas. So, sorry. Back to the turtles. So turtles drop a strip of white flesh, indicating that they have no blood. And in the north, they actually look down upon them in the south. But did you know that they just don't attack you? Like, even if you hit them, they won't attack. You can just walk away. That's if you choose to worship turtles. You know, I've kind of like stopped killing turtles because my homie Turtle Pope, if I need more stamina regen, I'll just equip that thing. But that's just for one character. You know, my next character might be Turtle Hungry. It's the beauty of Elden Ring. So, number 9. This one's also kind of like a throwaway one, but crab eggs taste better than crab meat, which I find also interesting because, I mean, crabs are huge, and if you can take one down, they're relatively easy to kill. You'd be kind of straight as far as a survivor of the lands between and the shattering. Wouldn't you want to eat the meat? But if the meat's that gross and you're just going for the eggs, like I really feel like the risk and the reward are not worth it there. I just had to bring that up. I would not be eating crab eggs is all I'm saying. I'd just be attacking the Sonic the Hedgehog sheep. Also, I could be wrong, but my final fact is, have you noticed that no animals drink water? And this could just be an oversight by the developers, or I just haven't found them yet. But like sheep, the little long-tailed squirrels, even the bats, like even animals by the water don't drink the water. And I just wondered, like, what the hell? shouldn't we see them drinking, and shouldn't we have some sort of item outside of the celestial dew that functions as hydration that isn't the flasks? Because when you think about it, the flasks are not used for endurance gain or stamina gain, which is what would indicate hydration in my opinion. Instead, you have your FP and your health, and I get it, you're an undead, you're a tarnished and whatnot, but the animals, are they undead too? And again, I don't really know if that matters or not. It's just facts and just stuff about Elden Ring I wanted to bring up in the item descriptions, because a lot of people are making videos, and I just figured I'd hop on board. So thanks for listening, and I hope you found, especially fact number 1, the land octopus, just, yeah, but thanks for listening. Have a good one.